Today's video, we are going to be talking about how death, dying, and grief are all part of real estate. So let's get after it right now. All right, I am leaving, it's right behind me. I am leaving a hospice center, and it's called Partners in Hope Foundation. And it's a lovely hospice center that will be opening mid-July. And I am partnering with them to support their clients, folks that are dying, and their family members, because this is a topic that is not discussed at all in real estate, especially on those shows like $1 Million Listing and, Selling Sunset and all those shows. Like, it's all glorious and fun and exciting, and that's not all real estate is about. And death, dying, grief, and real estate all go together. So let's talk about it. So I'm partnering with Partners Hope Foundation to help their clients, because once they do pass, they most likely have some real estate that will be, hopefully, they have taken care of it in advance, where the next of kin will inherit their property. So it's important to either get, upon death, like in a will, upon death, their estate is transferred to their next of kin, and specify who those people are, or person, or put the home in a trust and then assign that trust to whoever you want. So navigating those conversations, not like the second somebody passes, but shortly after, because you want to avoid probate court. That is literally the worst. I mean, can you imagine grieving the death of a loved one and then going through like court and lawyers and waiting, and it's like a long process, it's an expensive process, and then like you have to pay property taxes on it. I'm not property taxes, capital gains taxes, and it's a hot mess, and it takes over a year to get it settled. So you want to avoid probate court, and that's exactly what will happen when someone passes and they don't have their poop in a group. Let's just call it that. Because the government is going to try to come after your property. And you got to say, back off, because this is my mother's estate and it needs to stay in the family, or it needs to be sold. And that money is then for the grandkids or the siblings or a sister, literally whoever, it doesn't matter, insert whatever person in there. So, but doing all of this while you're grieving, like it makes things 10 times harder. And I want to make sure, like, I don't want to scare you, and I don't want to just talk about some dark topic, but it needs to be discussed, and you need to have a plan in place, because I know it's uncomfortable to talk about death or dying or getting sick, terminal illness. Like, I know it's uncomfortable to talk about it, but it's needed. So having a plan in place is so incredibly important. Having a will set up, having a trust set up, having those discussions about what you would like done with your estate. So it is part of real estate where you are working with a grieving family. And it's once they start cleaning out the house, it becomes very, very emotional because someone has lived there, or somebody grew up in that house, or maybe mom gave birth in that room over there. It's such an emotional process, and you're going to need a realtor who has patience and understanding and sympathy for the family, and not only working with one person, but the entire family, so that like it can be like a nice closed chapter, so everyone can move on without forgetting and having a lovely memory of the person who has passed. And it becomes even more tricky and emotional when the person who has passed is a child. And I have a listing right now, and we're under contract. And I can't tell you, I cried all the way home after my first appointment with the seller because her daughter has passed. And it was going to be an emotional roller coaster cleaning out her daughter's room. And because I also have a daughter, it hit me really close. Because when I saw the girl's room, there were still toys on the floor. So it was very, very hard appointment. And you know what? I just cried along with the seller, and because she had all these plans for the house and how her daughter was going to grow up and eventually like have her own children, and maybe she could live with her grandkids for a little while, and like she had all these grandiose plans, right? And none of that's happening now that the daughter has passed. So real estate is not all sunshine and rainbows, and if anyone tells you that it is, they're a big fat liar. And I have a big heart, and so working with these types of clients where the situation is difficult, they need to take their time to make decisions, or they need time to cry, or we need to build an extra time into the contract to support cleaning out a room of someone that has passed. Like, what do you do if your partner has passed and your closet is full of their items? It's so important to be with a realtor that you trust as well, and one that's connected in the community to resources, to other vendors who are just like them, who can help you go through your husband who has passed, go through his clothes and decide what you want to keep and what you want to donate and what you want to sell. Like, there's a wonderful company here in Missoula that does that. Help you pack your items, help you load the truck. Not you physically load the truck, but like you're standing there, over here guys, over here. So I do, I really enjoy working with folks who are going through such a hard situation, but also seniors and older adults who are downsizing. Their home is too big. Rooms are now empty since their children have grown up and moved away, or maybe some have passed. And they want a smaller home, or unfortunately, like maybe the wife has dementia and she needs to go to assisted living. I can make a recommendation for a few assisted living facilities. Maybe one would be better for dementia than another. but I can certainly point you in the right direction and get you to talk to a human or take a tour and choose one that you really feel good about, because these are really difficult situations. And real estate, and then most likely you'll need to sell your house. And talking through these options and how much equity somebody has in their home and how to use your current equity to purchase a smaller home where the purchase price will most likely be less than the value of your home. Because I know that's something that our boomers are very concerned about, is they probably purchased their home for $100,000 and now it's worth over $1 million. And they're like, well, I've owned my home for 30 years. I don't want to go back to paying a mortgage. Well, you don't necessarily have to, but that's where these really valuable conversations come in, and knowing what options are available to you and your particular situation. And you want to have your ducks in a row before you get sick, mentally or physically, before your partner gets sick, mentally or physically, before they pass, somebody passing. Like, you don't want to deal with this while you're grieving. And it's not a fun conversation to have, talking about planning for the future, planning for death. Like, it's not a happy conversation. I also met with a death doula, which is someone that supports you while you're actively dying. Not only supports the person who's actively dying, but supports the family. And I just thought that was so fascinating. I had never heard of it. And I think it's a wonderful idea, because you need that support while you're going through such a difficult time. And like, as a realtor, I can support you, I can cry with you, and I can tell you how much of a badass you are for not only dealing with selling your house, which is already freaking stressful, but then grieving on top of that. Oh, and if you have current children that are alive, you still have to take care of that. Oh, and then you have to take care of yourself and pay your bills and possibly have a full-time job. Like, that is a lot for one person. And I'm going to tell you, you're a badass, because once you become my client, I am your biggest cheerleader. I'm not going to wear like the pom-poms and stuff like that. That's not my jam. But I'm going to tell you, you're a badass, and I'm going to cry with you, and then I'm going to cry all the way home, because I do get attached to my clients, because I feel really deeply for other people, and I treat my clients like they are my family. And so if one of my family members is going through a hard time, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. So, in summary, talking about death, planning for death it's not fun, but it needs to be done. So if you are getting to the point where you are ready to start planning for what eventually will happen, reach out to me. Even if we have the conversation now, but nobody passes for another 5-10 years, like, that's great. That's amazing. That's what we want. So it's not, real estate is difficult, and I just want to be here to support you the best way possible. And And it all starts with a conversation. So don't think that you're bothering me, because you're not. I am here to help you through these hard times. And please, let's have this conversation while you or your loved one are still healthy or somewhat healthy. It makes things a lot easier. Or even having the conversation, like if your loved one is, let's go with dementia, it has dementia, discussing, and let me point you in the right direction on how to get a power of attorney so that you can make decisions for them in terms of their estate. Let's get you in contact with a real estate attorney so that you can get that trust set up, so when they do eventually pass, the estate is taken care of, and then you can grieve without dealing with all of this crap. Okay, I think that's it. So if you have any questions, comments, things to add, please do so down in the comments. I do read them. Even if you leave me a nasty comment, I still read it. My name is Diana Filkins. I'm a realtor serving Missoula and Ravalli County. And if you're moving in or out of the area, or looking to downsize, or help your parents downsize, or help your mom or dad or aunt or whoever, it doesn't matter, help downsize, I got you. And I've got a really big heart, and I am here to support you and your family one step at a time, no pressure, with patience and understanding. And I really truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Okay, now I'm gonna cry. So have an amazing day, and until next time, take care. Hold on, let me get back in the right hand line. All right, bye.